morning, Hockey Nation fans. Thank you, RJ, for joining. I noticed that Alan Barnes, you were here as well. Sorry, in the morning, there is no coach. Alan, are you in jail? Looks like you might be in jail. I don't know what the joke is there, but I see that. Yes, if you could hit likes and share this out, it'd be amazing. I know that there's a little bit less attendance in the morning, but if you're watching this either live or after we've recorded it, thank you for joining. Please hit like and subscribe if you have not done so already. That is always so important. Oh my goodness, RJ, we have a busy night tonight. We will check in the games. Danny, thank you for joining. You are French, aren't you? I thought you were. Let's go Red Wings. The Red Wings could use all the support that you could give them right now. They are not clicking on all cylinders. There are positive things that are coming out of this, but it happened, guys. The last place Anaheim Ducks got their 5th win of the season. Finally, all it took were the Detroit Red Wings to come to town. Good morning, Enertab. Thank you so much, Enertab, for joining on your lunch break from teaching all the wrong math to all the right kids. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I hope not either. That shirt looks like you might be in an old-timey prison, but that's okay. We will accept that. So last night, the Detroit Red Wings continued their Western road swing. We know they lost without getting any points against the LA Kings the other night. And then last night, well, in Anaheim, and unfortunately I'm not there. I should have been there, I guess. My timing was off. I'm in Austin this week. Normally I would be in California. The Ducks, we know, have had just a terrible season, but all it took for them to finally get their 5th win of the year and for John Gibson to get above 900 save percentage in a game were the Detroit Red Wings. So Red Wings are 7-5-4, still above 500 technically, and it's good that they get a point. However, let's face it, they've not been exactly clicking on all cylinders, have they? So this is a rough one. Detroit was up early in the game, and I think this was an exciting part of it. I'm really excited about this player, which is Jonatan Berggren, getting his first NHL goal from Philip Hronek. And Lucas Raymond continues to start, he's really starting to catch on here, which is positive. He's been very, very consistent offensively, which they need. But Jonatan Berggren now in 3 games has a goal and an assist. And I just think this guy ain't going back to the AHL. He wrecked the AHL last year as a rookie, and he had a great camp. He's shown he can play wing, which I thought I wasn't sure. Like, he's always been a centerman. He's not a big guy. But, man, his skill level is so high. He's so smart. He can shoot the puck. And he might be a little heavier than I realized. Like, I thought he was kind of a $170, but I'm noticing that he's 5'10", 5'11", but they have him listed at 197. So maybe that's a good thing. So he puts the Red Wings up 1-0 on the power play with it. There was kind of like an errant bounce that came out to him on a cross-ice pass from Lucas Raymond, and he fired it in the open cage past John Gibson to make it 1-0 in this game. When you look at the game and you look at the hits and you look at the block shots on paper and the faceoff percentage and the shots on goal and all those statistical areas, Detroit's doing all the right things in these games. Once again, 33 shots on goal. I mean, that's quite good. So they're getting to the net, 55% in the faceoff circle. This is also good news. And now lots of power plays against last night, which is unlike the Detroit Red Wings so far when they've had success. Usually they're drawing more penalties than they take. Here, they gave up 5 power plays, which that might have been kind of a difference maker for them. They killed off 4 of them, but they still go at 1 power play goal, as we see, where Mason McTavish gets his 2nd of the year. I really love Mason McTavish, and I think you will too. Over time, he's just going to get better and better. So this is good that the young guys are scoring in this game. So some positive here. So going into the second, it was 1-1. And if you take a look, like 19 hits to 17, Detroit, trying to manage the puck well and play physical. So this is unlike their blowout games last week. This is a lot better, but it is against a pretty, a team that's really struggling on the year. Let's see. Alan, RJ, scheduled scoreboard update. I'm not sure what that is. I guess you guys are just chatting in there. Lots of snow in Ottawa. I've seen snow even in Ontario. Is that you guys have snow there in the Toronto area? You also see 25 block shots from the Red Wings. even though they have 25 block shots, there's still 30 shots, however, for the Ducks. So, altogether 55 attempts, that's kind of rough. So something's going on there that they'll have to clean up. But, going into the second, Michael Rasmussen getting his second of the year, this is also good news. So another young player that I think is really important to Detroit's success and making it 2-1. If you watch John Klingberg in this game, by the way, they're going to probably move him. He's only on a 1-year deal with Anaheim. I think he's a -7 on the year. He is just not great one-on-one. When he has the puck, he's okay. But, you can see why Dallas was not in a big hurry to give him a lot of money and re-sign him. And this is not helping Anaheim in any way, having him. So whoever gets him, buyer beware. He could be a loaded gun that you're pointing at yourself. If you bring him into your defensive core. He is a veteran. We know he can get points, but he may not be a solution for a competitive team. If he's going to suddenly suck up second pairing or even, number 2 or 3 minutes on a team, a little rough. The defense in Anaheim, you can see, has a little bit, of work they need, obviously. But, man, they did fine last night. So Klingberg ties it up with his first of the year, which is maybe surprising. You would expect he's not a big goal scorer. I guess he's more assist, but he does, he can score a little bit from Fowler and Zegras. So now this game goes into overtime. In overtime, Ryan Strome getting his 5th of the year. And if you look at Ryan Strome, he is such a consistent offensive player. If you look at his stats right now, he is on pace for 49, 50 points, 20 goals, 30 assists. And if you look at his career, it's kind of interesting. That is what he has all the way around. Zegras getting another assist in this game, so his second assist of this game. And that gets the extra point for Anaheim. So at least Detroit walks away with a point. Somewhat of an improvement, but again, not exactly what you want. Yes, it's a closer game, but it's not against a great team. My defense from Detroit made me nice points last night. Okay. That's all. So who do you have? Do you have Roenick in your pool? Is that what you're talking about? So I don't know. This is unfortunate. Red Wings are a work in progress, obviously. Ville Husso had a .900 save percentage in this game. You get an assist from Lucas Raymond, a goal from both Rasmussen and Berggren. So the young guys are getting it done. Oscar Sundqvist, I thought, played better last night. I thought his prior 2 games were kind of rough. Kubalik, who's had a really good year, was a minus along with Larkin and Ernie. But, overall, you need those guys producing offensively. Yeah, you have Philip Roenick. And Roenick is an interesting case. I think the biggest thing, I didn't put it up here. The biggest thing for me with him, he's got 5 points in his last 5 games. So that, the fact that you have him, he's heating up offensively, which is probably helpful. Defensively, though, that second pairing is really make or break, I think, for this team. You can kind of rely upon that first pairing for the Red Wings with Seider and Sherratt, but the second pairing is what can kind of kill them. So if we take a look, there was a busy night last night also in the NHL. We should take a look at the other games. But you can see they're heading now into San Jose, and the Sharks are on a 3-game winning streak. Who would have thought that would have happened? Did you expect the Sharks to go on a 3-game winning streak? Sharks are coming off, what was there? Yeah, so 3 games, overtime loss for here. So they're 4-4-2, the Red Wings in their last 10. Sharks are 4-3-3. This is not going to be an easy game. Thomas Hertl's been heating up, 7 points his last 5 games. Timo Meier, 4 goals. This all kind of started. There was one game where Logan Couture fought Jamie Benn in the Dallas game. That's bad mismatch to me. Erik Karlsson. I don't know if you've seen what's going on with Erik Karlsson. 6 points his last 5 games is just part of the story. A +6 for Thomas Hertl. So this is not going to be an easy game. And big part of this is the play of James Reimer. And if we look over the history of James Reimer's career, he is up and down like a yo-yo. When he's up, he's hard to beat, and he's been hard to beat. He's been playing very well, and his stats on the season are pretty darn good, more so in the last few games. Kakkonen not really working out for them. And Coach Frenchie, I'll give him credit, called this that he was not a great goalie. I thought he was going to be real solid for them. This guy had a great AHL career and took a little longer than we thought to come to the NHL with Minnesota, and then they just let him go. And this looks like, well, he just continues to struggle now in San Jose, but not James Reimer. He's taking advantage of that, and he's been doing a great job. I think he might have had all 3 wins for them. But let's look at Erik Karlsson for a second. 24 points on the season in 18 games and a +3. So, I asked the question, who is better in the NHL than Rasmus Dahlin? Well, right now, Erik Karlsson already has in 18 games as many goals as he had last year in 50. So he is really, like, if he can stay healthy, which has really been the issue for him more than anything, he's going to have a career year here. Like, he is powering this team. And this is what they paid 10, 11 million bucks for. Does he want out of San Jose? Like, they've said that they will entertain a trade for him. But if he's playing like this, he's 32 years old, and he's right now, he is leading NHL defensemen in scoring. He has 5 more points than Adam Fox, 6 more than Kel McCarr, and 6 more than Rasmus Dahlin. Right now, Rasmus Dahlin to me I'm like, wow, who's better than him? Well, okay, maybe we need to start paying attention to Erik Karlsson again. Did you guys know who Matthias Maselli is? Because right now, he's the leading scorer, by the way, for rookies. I noticed this too. Ahead of Pinto and ahead of Matty Beniers, ahead of Mason McTavish, and ahead of Cole Perfetti. Like, Owen Power is kind of heating up a little bit, but we know Buffalo's in really rough shape right now. But, geez, this kid's like the top scorer in rookies. Do you notice this? All right, so back to San Jose quickly. Will they continue their hot streak? This is not going to be an easy game for the Red Wings. Go Bombers. Oh, are you a Winnipeg Bombers fan? Yeah, Karlsson. Woo, man, oh man. Interesting. And I thought Brent Burns would have a great year, which not that he's not. I think he's playing very well in Carolina. But man, I did not agree. I did not see this coming from Karlsson. He has struggled so much. A Ray Bourque number 2. Ray Bourque's probably a lot better defensively than Karlsson. Am I wrong? Was Ray Bourque not a very good? I thought Ray Bourque was a really tough defenseman. He's a stocky guy and tough to play against. But he got offense, like, for sure. Ray Bourque was awesome. I don't know. You probably got to think, like, Erik Karlsson, if he stays healthy and keeps on even close to this pace, like, yeah, I don't think that he is the Ray Bourque was great in all parts of the ice, right? That was kind of not that he's terrible defensively. He's not like, Ray Bourque was really tough to play against. Oh, you live in Winnipeg, Alan. Got it. Well, Winnipeg Jets are doing pretty good. So I don't know. That season, I think that I was kind of skeptical of a couple things, particularly, picking Rick Bowness as the coach, a return to Winnipeg. But, man, that's worked out so far. And removing the captaincy off Blake Wheeler seems to have been the right choice. Everything seems to be going pretty well over there. Is Dan Ashmed your neighbor? I don't know. That's a good question. Is he also in Winnipeg? Well, let's look at a couple of things. John Tavares got his 400th goal last night. That's interesting. New Jersey continues to win. 5-1 win last night, guys. Wow. I would not have anticipated this. Like, this New Jersey team has definitely turned a corner. 2 goals and an assist last night for Jack Hughes. So, again, I keep saying this, but we got to make sure whenever McDavid, whenever Hughes, whenever Kaprizov's playing, you got to watch these guys. So if you look at the standings right now, Toronto suddenly is, planning their ticker tape parade. Matt Murray, this was a good story last night. Matt Murray returned against his old team, right? So they played Pittsburgh. I gotta be careful not to show video here because I think we got a copyright claim on the last time when I accidentally had video in the background. John Tavares gets his 400th goal last night. So did you guys watch this game? I just kind of watched the scoreboard more than anything. Pittsburgh was thumped 5-2. So just when you thought Pittsburgh was turning the corner, but this is a great news story. If a .946 save percentage, he faced 37 shots last night, Matt Murray. So coming off of injury, has he played 2 games now on the season? Jeez, yep, 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss. But if he can keep playing like this, Matt Murray, Matt Murray looks a little rough there. Get some sleep, Matt Murray. I mean, this is really an important thing for them. They got, Samsonov hurt. They're not going to get through the whole year with Calgren. But having Matt Murray even play 25, 30 games would be amazing for them, especially if he continues to play like he did last night, which was really positive. By the way, Jordy Ben on the defense for Toronto. When did they acquire Jordy Ben? And he played 21 minutes last night. You're hurting when you got Jordy Ben playing 21 minutes. Jake Muzzin is out indefinitely with that spinal issue. And then TJ Brody is out. So, this is a banged up D, and it's going to be really important that guys like Liljegren and Sandin play better than they are. +3 for Morgan Rielly. You never really have to worry about him. 21 minutes. How do they have so many guys with 21, 23 minutes? Giordano, I'm trying to do the math on that, but I guess they're really relying on those top pairs. 22 minutes for Justin Hall. That's interesting. But it worked out. You got goals from Tavares, his 9th of the year. He's having a great year. Mitch Marner gets his 4th, 13th assist for Rielly. That's great. And Tavares is now up to 18 points at that point. Michael Bunting, maybe he's heating up. That's positive if you're a Leaf fan. He gets 2 goals last night. And Matthews doesn't score at all, but he gets his 10th assist. So that's interesting. And then William Nylander kind of pots an insurance goal there, making it 5-2. So good night if you're a Leafs fan with the return of our friend Matt Murray. I hope he has success. I don't want to see him struggle. So now suddenly in the standings, that puts the Leafs just behind, let's see, in the Atlantic, just behind the juggernaut that are the Boston Bruins. Florida, interesting. The yo-yo continues. They get a win. I'm predicting a loss on their next game because that's the way it rolls when you're that team. Tampa Bay last night I thought won. They did win. They won in overtime against Dallas. So that was a big win for them. Did anybody watch this game? Marchman gets his 5th of the year. I thought that was positive. Pavelski continues to crank, but the guy is really cranking. Jason Robertson, I think, has 24 or 25 points. So let's see. Yeah, 14 assists and 11 goals, right? Wow. Jason Robertson is just a machine. The Leafs should hope that Nick Robertson turns out to be a fraction of this. I always kind of thought maybe I got them mixed up. Jason's a lot bigger than his brother Nick. He's 6'2" or something, 6'3", and Nick somehow is 5'9". But Jason Robertson's just a machine for Dallas. It's always exciting seeing young players. Alex Killorn getting the overtime winner for Tampa. And yet that's how tough the Atlantic is. They're in 4th. Kind of crazy. Montreal last night. Did they play last night? They had a loss, didn't they? Who did they play? Or was it the night before? Yeah, it was the night before, I guess. Oh no, that was the New Jersey game last night, right? Oh, it was last night. Okay. I didn't watch this game. I just saw the score. So if you guys watch this, what did you think of Jack Hughes? Why is New Jersey winning so much? Interesting that Dadonov got on the board. Wasn't he put on waivers? I thought he was put on waivers here. Yeah, go away, Matt Murray. Well, I think it'd be nice if Matt Murray had some success. He's had a little bit of turbulence in his personal life. And I think, his father passing was a really tough thing on him. And if he turns out to, get his career turned around, that's really good news for Toronto, who took a big gamble to get him in. And having him in the lineup means that there's 3 players that can't be in the lineup for them. So just because of the cap situation. New Jersey continuing, 2 goals and assists for Hughes. Jesper Bratt, this is a great signing. If Dawson Mercer can get his offensive game up a little bit, he picked up a couple of assists last night. So that's good news. Jesper Bratt, 21 points on the season. Crazy year for him. I mean, he's a top 10 scorer in the NHL, I think. If we look at the stats is he up there? Maybe he's fallen out of the top 10. Tage Thompson in the top 10. Yeah, he's 11. He's tied with Thompson, but he has fewer goals. Tage Thompson, though, has been still a continued great story. I thought he'd fall off a little bit. He's had health problems in the past, but man, if he continues to score, this is good news for Buffalo. They got a legit 35, 40 goal scorer there. Panarin, we always expect to see up there, but again, Erik Karlsson, what a crazy story. 7th in league scoring. I mean, I think when we were making predictions, I don't think anybody picked Erik Karlsson to be anything but injured, and there's still time. But McDavid, of course, 2 points a game still. Oof. I'm telling you, Intertap, he thinks he can get 200 points, and maybe he's right. Army and Druin placed on IR, creating space for Matheson return and Dadonov. Okay. And Druin, they say, is what, another 4 to 6 weeks, I think. But what a thump, it's not surprising that there was such a thumping because New Jersey's been playing just so well. But what is it about New Jersey that is so dominating, guys? Is it just the matchups? Like, I'm trying to figure out, is this the emergence of Hughes and Bratt? Heishire's been playing great, and they're getting consistent goaltending. I mean, this is a crazy story. Buffalo, man, just after having an early season winning streak, I think they had a 4 or 5 game winning streak. They're now on a 7 or 8 game losing streak. And the pain continues against, Vancouver, who they went with their backup and Spencer Martin and had an .875 save percentage, .844 for Craig Anderson. Holy moly, what is going on? The save percentages are really bad. And meanwhile, in Vancouver, if you look, Elias Peterson, I think, has 17 points in 14 games. 20 points in 17 games. I'm sorry, I was a little bit off there, but I mean, he's having a great year. And Bo Horvat getting his 14th goal last night. So I don't know. Is this just more of Bruce Boudreau fire wagon hockey? Is that part of the problem? Is the defense, again, just such a mess? You would think with Ekman, Larson, Hughes, and Myers, that wouldn't be that bad. And there's probably a big drop-off because you go to Shen, Burrows, and Bear. But, yeah, it's not great. You see the teams with, less than perfect defense and goaltending really struggle this year. There's just so much offensive talent. That's a rough game. And yeah, last night, Washington losing to Florida 5-2. So the yo-yo continues in Florida. This one was interesting because it was the return of John Tortorella to Columbus. And Philadelphia, man, I think they're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. So they're in tough. Carter Hart not having the greatest night, .848 save percentage. They went with both goalies last night in Columbus to pull this out, but they managed to win 5-4 in overtime. Gavrikov getting the overtime winner. Quietly, Travis Konechny having a very good year, though, by the way. And I think, is he point a game? Yeah, 19 points in 16 games, but a -8, not so great. This was a player that in the OHL was a first overall draft pick, and he was a very, very good offensive player in the OHL. Yeah, the red. Did we change it to Red Wing? I thought we fixed that. Does it still show Reed Wing? I thought I fixed that. Concussion protocol, so it's open door on how long they keep him on the IR. Okay, interesting. All right, so looking ahead, I don't know if there's any other games you want to touch on from last night or any stories that we haven't touched on. The Wild, who have not been as consistent as past years, lose to Nashville. Nashville also struggling, but a good game for Saros last night. But again, this is crazy, how San Jose last night won 5-2 over Vegas. Vegas had the fire, how do you put it? They were on fire all year, and San Jose is not exactly beating a junky team here. James Reimer, .923 save percentage. This is good news, and only 26 shots against. So David Quinn doing something, and the veteran guy is really playing well for San Jose. Meyer, Couture, Hurdle, and we mentioned before, obviously, Erik Karlsson. Jack Hughes gets on the board, so he's getting his points. Logan Thompson a little off last night, but I still think in the end he's going to be, especially if you look at the rookie scoring, I think he's going to be in the finalists for the Calder Trophy still. I did fix it. Okay, good. Danny struggles with spelling. I did that. The original title said Reed Wings instead of Red Wings. Sorry about that. Yeah, I did fix it because Alan gave me a heads up. All right, let's just look ahead, though, to that San Jose game I think I mentioned. So that's tomorrow. Tonight, what's on tap? We have Buffalo and Ottawa, St. Louis and Chicago. Can St. Louis keep digging out of the hole? Going to be interesting. LA Kings at Edmonton. This should be a very, very good game. And, this is really, I think the Kings are on, let's see. They lost their last one, but they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. So overall, Kings have been playing very well. The veterans are pulling the way. Dano having 5 points in the last 5 games. Boy, in Montreal, don't you wish he had kept this guy? Like, he's worth every dime that LA signed him for. He's just such a good player. Like, this is called not being appreciated by the team that you brought to the Stanley Cup final. Drew Doughty continuing to put up points, racking up big minutes. I think he might still be a little bit of a minus, but the goaltending is these stats are slowly improving, and it's not Cal Peterson, I don't think, that's doing it. I think it's mostly Jonathan Quick. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. Jack Campbell's still not really justifying the money they gave him in Edmonton, so that's going to be interesting to see. Do you think that'll turn around? I am not convinced it will. I mean, this guy was only ever a starting goalie in Toronto, and his stats in the playoffs weren't that great. Can this guy pull it out? Can he be a number one that leads Edmonton? They still have so many problems here with goaltending. It's crazy. You would have thought throwing money at this would have worked. Skinner's been pretty good, but I just don't know if Skinner's ready to lead this team. McDavid, 8 points in the last 5 games. That's unfortunate. It's not 10 points because I think he's trying to go for the 2-point-a-game thing. But let's see. Does he get 2 points tonight against the LA Kings? That'll be a great game to watch. Lots of good stories. Gabe Vilardi, I think, has 10 or 11 goals on the year. Kevin Fiala heating up a little bit for LA Kings. And then tomorrow night, we will put a video out on Friday morning, but tomorrow night, lots of games on the schedule on Thursdays. So one of them, the last game listed here, is Detroit versus San Jose. So it'll be interesting to see how Detroit does against a suddenly hot San Jose team. Marco, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. What did you think of the Leafs win last night? And what do you think of Matt Murray in between the pipes? That's positive. And you're right, Kaliev is developing nicely. Gabe Vilardi having 10, 11 goals in the season. That's a unexpected, I think, bonus for a player that they weren't sure was going to turn out. I can join the panel tonight, sure. Remind me what time it is. I'm in Austin, so is it 8 p.m. Austin time, 9 p.m. Eastern, right? I'm happy to join. That would be great. 4 points tonight from McDavid. Against maybe, because the Kings have not done a consistent job of keeping the puck out of the net. It's at 9 Eastern. Okay, great. I will be there. If you guys want me, I am there. I am free tonight. So I will put that on my calendar. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be interesting with a suddenly hot San Jose team, and Detroit still struggling to find their way. Hopefully the Red Wings get some points out of this, maybe even a win. Which Detroit Red Wings team will show up. The last few games have been a little tighter, but not against great competition. And we can't suddenly write off San Jose because they're on a 3-game winning streak. And do they get James Reimer? Do they get Kakkonen? That will be interesting to see. All right, guys, we are quarter to the hour. I will join the panel tonight, yes, as long as Coach Frenchie will have me. I am happy to do so. Carlson, 4 points, maybe. 24 points on the year, Marco. He's the 7th leading scorer in the NHL, and he's like 6 points ahead of Cale Makar. I think he's 5 points ahead of Adam Fox. And Rasmus Dahlin has 18 points in the year, which is a great news story for Buffalo. And I really think watching him game in, game out, like there wasn't a better D, but I got to start watching. And I guess no better time than Thursday to watch Erik Karlsson and see, is this the real deal? Because he's been racking up the points. He's already got 10 goals in 18 games. He had 10 goals all of last year, and an injury-shortened year. He only played 56 games. So Erik Karlsson, a good news story for San Jose. Do they still trade him? Because now people are looking at this going, ooh, this guy could really impact my lineup. And a lot of teams are lacking on defense. I just think that contract is a big nut. Now, they might retain 50%. Is Lalonde the right coach? I think so. I think he's asking them to play that Tampa style where they play heavy on the right side of the puck and they don't take undue chances. So he's trying to educate them on puck management. And this is a team last few years, absolutely no puck management ability. And that was a big problem. So he's trying to get old habits out. I think it's just going to take time. I really like the way he handles the press, and I think that he's very, very detailed on how he approaches the players. And they have young players that are producing. So it's like, you've got big minutes from Rasmussen and Raymond. I think those are all good stories. Larkin's having a very good year overall. So I think that's positive. So I think he is the right coach. I was kind of skeptical about, like, why wouldn't you bring in a veteran coach? But the speculation I had, and I didn't know enough about him, was they're trying to find their next John Cooper, just like John Cooper wasn't John Cooper until Tampa hired him and gave him the time and opportunity to become John Cooper in Tampa. And he's doing the same thing with Alone. And I can see why. He does a real good job. He manages the bench much better than Jeff Blashill. Montreal, yes, 4 to 6 weeks with the upper body injury. 2 biggest surprises, disappointments, players and teams. Do up your lists. Okay, I will do that. Imagine Karlsson on the Edmonton power play, but maybe. So you got to move out Tyson Barrie in Edmonton. They got to retain half the salary, and they would have to get a player back. Kyler Yamamoto's been playing pretty decent year, although I haven't seen his stats. So I'm curious, like, the 2 candidates that you would think in Edmonton, the 2 trade bait candidates in Edmonton would be Kyler Yamamoto and Jesse Puljujärvi. And I haven't really looked closely at how those guys are doing. Would either of those guys fit into Mike Greer's plans? And does that help this terrible, goals against? Because that's really the big issue in my mind in Edmonton. Well, Nugent Hopkins point a game, that's pretty good. -1 for a guy that they claim is such a great defensive player. He's always a minus. The loss of Evander Kane is really going to hurt them. I cannot see Erik Karlsson wanting to be on the same team as Evander Kane. Can you? I don't think that's going to happen. Is it 3 years or is it like 7 years? We got to look at the Erik Karlsson contract. Has Yamamoto been brutal? I haven't even checked. Puljujärvi's brutal. 1, 2, and 3. No goals, 3 assists for Yamamoto. I had really high hopes for Dylan Holloway. I thought this would not be this terrible. So I don't know what's going on there. Interesting there, Clem Kostin. Whew. Yeah, they're not really giving themselves a chance here because all the offense is still so top heavy. Even Evan Bouchard, who was so great in the playoffs, -6. Jeez. What the heck? 12 points from Tyson Barrie. I mean, do you need Erik Karlsson if you have Tyson Barrie? Like, obviously Erik Karlsson's better than Tyson Barrie, but very similar type of game, right? Although Barrie is very, very much like just the power play. Great year from the top lines. I mean, Zach Hyman, Kane, these guys are all playing real well. But you definitely would have expected more from Puljujärvi, Yamamoto, and I had expectations of Dylan Holloway. So that's interesting. Matt Murray continues to kind of have a middling NHL career. Is Matthias Janmark part of the solution? He's at least decent defensively. So I don't know what trade bait you've got there. I mean, Holloway, you do not want to give up. You don't want to give up Xavier Bourgault. And I cannot see Erik Karlsson wanting to play with Evander Kane again. For sure, they miss him. But, I think we already went through the drama in San Jose with Erik Karlsson in Ottawa. First of all, actually, he had drama in Ottawa, right, with the Mike Hoffman thing. And now it's like drama in San Jose. Maybe the problem is Erik Karlsson. You have to say that Evander Kane's kind of the problem. They need a nasty D man, just like the Leafs. Shen, no, I don't see that working. I mean, they've got Kulak. I guess isn't really that type of D, is he? Yeah, 5 more years, 11.5. But you know what? You can get rid of this guy. If he is healthy and he puts up big numbers this year like he is, and he's the difference maker to your team, which I think right now he's showing he's definitely a difference maker in San Jose. Why wouldn't he be on a better team? And they've got some tools in San Jose. They got a decent coach. They're getting good goaltending, right? Reimer's doing what Reimer does. He's on his upswing right now. It's going to fall out. The bottom's going to fall out at some point, right? Always happens. But if you retain 50% in exchange for getting back a first-round pick and a prospect, I mean, you would take Erik Karlsson at $6 million a year. Like, why wouldn't you? That's reasonable. 6 or 7, right? Like, his stats justify that. 11.5, that's a little tough. And then you got to think in Edmonton, I haven't looked at their cap situation, but you've got to think, I got to be careful with this because I keep accidentally showing video. You've got to think that if Erik Karlsson, if Erik Karlsson at $6 million, who do you pull out? Because there's probably a cap problem in a place like Edmonton with that. So I don't know. That's what's going to happen. Karlsson back to the Sens might be a good story. Would he want to go there from San Jose? He'd be like, we're better in San Jose than we are in Ottawa, because they are. They have better goaltending, I think, even. Like, the situation, unless you really believe Cam Talbot can become a number 1 again, I never really bought into that where he was before. You know, do you think that in Ottawa, you add Erik Karlsson, things change? I can't see him wanting to go backwards on that. I think there's just too much bad blood. His wife's probably like, I'm happy in the Bay Area. You got Logan Couture there. You got Thomas Ertl. You got Timo Meier. So you got some good veteran players. You got some good young players. You still got Vlasic on D there, which, he seems to be playing okay. I can't see him going back there. And then would that fix it? I'm never been a big Talbot guy. I just don't see this. Hoffman back to Ottawa. Oh, yeah. Hoffman and trade Evander Kane there. Imagine Hoffman, Kane, and Karlsson in Ottawa. That'd be great. All right, well, guys, we are 7 minutes, no space in anyone's cap. Detroit. Would Erik Karlsson make a difference in Detroit? They have a winning percentage that's pretty good right now. They're 7-5-4 on paper. Does a guy like Erik Karlsson go to Detroit and have an impact? They got lots of room on the cap. They got prospects they can move. I don't know who you move, but there's definitely players. And I think San Jose is probably still a bottom 5 team. I think you're probably right. Because I think James Reimer will go back in the hole. He'll average out to a 900-something save percentage, but that's going to be a bunch of games at 870 and then a bunch of games at 920. Probably true. But I mean, he's a star. If he's playing like this, he's a star, right? Not at 11.5, but maybe, again, if San Jose retains some cash, which they were going to have to do, 30-50%, somewhere around there, then maybe. But I don't know. I think stick the course. You've got Sider. If you can just keep rounding out Philip Hronek's game, you're fine. You don't need him. All right, we're 6 minutes before the hour. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I really enjoyed talking to you. I will join the panel tonight as long as Coach Frenchie has room for me tonight, Marco and Enertap. I look forward to talking to you guys at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live channel. And we will see you this evening on Hockey Nation Live.